Well, good evening, Gopher fans, and welcome back to another episode of Sky U Pod postseason edition. Joining me as always, we got Max and Curdy. Fellas, how we doing today?
Doing
Doing
good,
good.
man. Bowl season's upon us. Already got one down with Washington stomping Boise, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know we're supposed to pretend bowl games don't matter and all that, but it's college football. The season goes by too fast, so I'm always enjoying the games when we can get them, especially when it's the Gophers. So good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to soak in the remaining games here. There's a lot of good games coming up and a lot of good playoff games to look forward to as well. So, yeah, it's an exciting time of the year.
Yeah, it sure is. And yeah, we just wanted to kind of go over about, the things that have happened in the past, I don't know, few
There's a
weeks
lot.
since season end.
Did,
There
did
is
we
a
miss
lot of
something?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So we're just gonna jump right to it, fellas. Let's start here with the coach. Gophers fired defensive line coach Dennis Doughton Carter. Which I don't know. To me, fellas, I thought it. I think I understand maybe, but I was a little surprised maybe. I think if you're going to make moves like this wasn't like a move that I thought was going to happen if there was going to be one to be made if you're PJ Fleck. But yeah, let's start with you, Max. What do you think about the move?
Yeah, so I guess this was his first year, right? Because Delati Dare had just gone to Arizona, and this was his first year taking over as a D line coach. So that to me stuck out as kind of odd that after year one, they're just going to move on from a position coach after the D line I thought did fine this year. So I haven't seen any details as to why they made the change. I would assume it's I don't even know. I don't even want to like speculate on like what like why they're moving on if it's just not the right fit or they had their eye on someone else. I just think the strangest thing is that now it came out that Winston DeLigo, the former D line coach who left here, who was pretty successful, is now coming back to the Big Ten to coach Michigan State in the same exact role. And that to me is like, well, geez, like we could have just kept the same
Well,
guy, but I'm
yeah.
assuming he's getting a
I
pay
mean,
raise from here.
yeah. Well, the Winston going back to MSU, I'm just assuming that means things weren't looking good for him in Arizona. I it's very rare you leave college, or I'm sorry, you leave NFL to come back to college to coach the same
Yeah.
job. So and Arizona's having a terrible year, so I'm assuming he was probably looking out for his best interest there and jumping back. But you're right, like our position was open, right? So I don't even know. Maybe maybe like you said, PJ has his eye on somebody else. I don't know why he didn't come back here. It is what it is. I think this means Danny Collins is safe, right? Like we would have heard by now if there was another move coming. So they clearly think it's the defensive line play that was causing a lot of the defensive issues. We had a lot of sacks this year, and as the D line coach, you probably outside looking in, you probably think he's safe, but when it's Anthony Smith who is getting a lot of those sacks and you had to blitz a lot to get a lot of those sacks, maybe they kind of took a deeper look through everything. And, the coach is there every day. So PJ has an idea of what he thinks the issue is, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I hope it's the right move. I hope it improves the run defense, right? I think that's probably my guess as to why they made this switch is that they wanted a more consistent run defense, which was pretty spotty throughout the year. The zone. The thing with me is like the zone pass defense was still struggling, and I don't know how much of that is on the D line. I understand that pressure helps out the defenders playing zone, but it was never. It didn't feel like we got a lot of coverage sacks. I'll say that, I guess, this year. So, I so like I said, I hope this is the move that corrects everything, but I am I'm a little tentative to believe that this is the one fix, the one switch that fixes everything. Just with how many other positions seem to struggled on the defense this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think that if you look at the defense as a whole, we were lamenting kind of towards after the Nebraska game, frankly, on how poorly the defense had looked and how it kind of seemed like it was kind of regressing since the start of the season, even, right? And I thought that probably the brightest spot maybe on the defense at times there was inconsistency was the defensive line. Anthony Smith obviously makes a huge dent in there. We know what Devin Eastern can do. And along with the some of the other D linemen, they've also played pretty well. I think as a first time, coach, maybe you kind of give that the Danny Collins benefit of the doubt too and see where that goes. Because if you make a move like that, I don't think the glaring issue was the defensive line, and that's why the defense was so bad. Like, yes, it was very inconsistent, but to make a move like that to say, this is it right here, this is going to be the key to opening up this defense next year. I don't think, I'm a little pessimistic to think that is what's going to be the sole thing that's going to change this defense. And so,
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was going to add in.
If you're gonna fire the defensive line coach, have you considered or thought about maybe moving on from the D coordinator as well? Or is there just something that we're missing?
Yeah. I'm sure that it's, Danny's been with PJ a long time, so they trying to make other corrective moves elsewhere and give Danny another shot at it. But I just want to acknowledge, like, they do have a separate coach for the rush ends. So I don't know if the Jackson Howard or Anthony Smith is technically the rush end. I don't know which one they call that and what they call the other one. So like that coach is staying on and now helping coach the D line for the bowl game while we look for a replacement. So I just want to acknowledge that. I'm blanking on this coach we just fired, and you just said his name at the start. What's his name? Dennis. What is it?
Dennis Dotton Carter.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, he was well liked by the players and had good relationships with guys that were actively recruiting. One of the main Minnesota kids in the next recruiting cycle here is a 4-star D lineman, and those two had a really good relationship. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason you need to factor in when considering someone to keep their job or not, but they obviously think there's a technique flaw or a coaching flaw in what he's coaching the interior D line, just because he showed that he could recruit D line, in my opinion, and was well liked by important guys that you're still going after. So hopefully the move works out. Best of luck to him. Seemed like a nice guy. As far as we know, it wasn't anything off the field. It was just pure coaching ability, I guess, and hopefully they get a guy in there that improves, I guess.
Yeah. Well, some other news. Let's kind of hit this transfer. Oh, Dave chimes in here. You would think that the defensive backfield and the offensive line coach would be in more trouble than the defensive line coach.
Yeah, the problem is Danny Collins is the defensive back coach, or was the safeties coach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of his baby. So I'm not disagreeing with you, Dave. It's just it's another, layer to this. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think the leash is long for Danny after what happened last year. So I think this is just we're going to give him another year. Hopefully it goes well, but we'll see.
Right. All right, fellas. Well, yeah, let's head over to the transfer portal now. So as we know, let's just kind of hit all of the transfers that we've learned about so far. Number one, and probably the biggest one, is Femi Ijiboy hits the portal, along with Malachi Coleman and Kenrick Lanier. What does this mean for the Gophers? Is this a big deal, meh, or not a big deal? Curdy, what do you think?
Well, Femi Ijiboy is definitely the biggest one. We could probably focus on him here individually, just because I think it speaks a lot to the running back room. Gotta assume Darius is back then as well. If Ijiboy felt the need to move on, they had already announced that AJ Turner was coming back. So it was going to be 3 guys that they really liked. And listen, as Gopher fans, we were saying that we thought EJ Boy could have gotten more carries this year. And so I don't necessarily blame him when he's probably being pitched a similar role for next year. I think he had shown that he had the ability to be the next true, workhorse for this backfield. So that's really disappointing. The early chatter when he jumped in was that Auburn was kind of letting him know that they had strong interest in him. So he's going to go to another Power 2 school, Big Ten or SEC. He's going to have a lot of suitors. I think this could be a big loss, considering your 2 backs just basically missed at least half of last year, and Darius Taylor and AJ Turner missed almost all the year. So your top 2 backs have already shown that they're injury prone. And I think next year is the last year for both, for sure. Darius, I think AJ is also done after next year. So then you're counting on the young guys. And I really like the young kid out of Texas, Ryan Estranada. That might not be his last name. I don't remember off the top of my head, but really highly touted kid. So I'm sure he'll get playing time next year, but they're probably going to have to bring somebody in the portal now. I just think that this could be an oversight by PJ and whoever's in charge of helping retain players of not pitching him a bigger role than what he had. Because I think in the long run, it probably would have been better to maybe have Femi back for next year than any of the other 2 backs we're talking about. So I think it's a big loss. Anything else? I guess I kind of went on there, but go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I think the Feme one is we'll probably notice it more down the road, like you said. Like if Darius stays healthy next year and AJ Turner stays healthy as well and can be that number 2 back, I think the run game will be okay next year with those 2 guys. They're both talented. But after that, yeah, it's like I would love to have 2 full years, 2.5 full years, I guess, of Feme in the future. Just showing what he could do and just the way you kind of saw it early on and just how he progressed throughout just one season, how much he got better. And he's got the size, he's got the skill, like he's tough. He kind of fit the role perfectly. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that he was underutilized. And I think you made a good point too, Kurt. It does seem like we would have to go get someone in the portal now just to add depth because we've got some young freshman running backs, but I don't know that we really know what we have, if they're going to be ready to fill that role, if they become the 2 or the 1. And yeah, I don't know how that works in the portal or how all the value plays out, but it just feels like when you have to go get a kid in the portal, it feels like you kind of have to overpay versus keeping the guys that you already got.
Well,
and it's like you have the known commodity, and do you really want to go mess with the room and roll the dice, I guess, on a new player?
I think they'll probably end up with probably 2. PJ always grabs like 3 running backs every cycle, it feels like, when he can. And he'll probably be another 6-year senior, like Cam Davis this year. Like, fine, he can play, but he's just serviceable really at best. And I know that's unfair to Cam Davis because he used to be a really explosive guy, and just unfortunately injuries caught up to him, and he is what he is. Like, I was happy to have him this year, but I'd much rather have Feme be the 2nd/3rd option.
Right.
I mean, I would have had Feme. I would have been fine with Feme being the 1st option, to be honest. I mean, I love Darius, and I don't want to move on. But if I had to choose any of the backs to come back, I would choose Feme just because of the years he has remaining, and he's been the best at staying healthy. And honestly, I don't think anyone, even Darius has power, but he doesn't quite move the pile necessarily like I think Feme showed. Like Darius, one-on-one open field can run a guy over, but Feme would be gang tackled and the pile would still be moving forward. Does that make sense? So I just don't know if we have that ability right now on the roster with anybody else with Feme gone, because the other guys coming in are young. And there's some, guys that redshirted this year. I believe one of them is Grant Washington, I think his name was, the one that had the big game against the School of the Blind that we played at the start of the year. So, they have guys they like, and I know that true freshman out of Texas is going to be playing right away, but he's more of a speed guy too. So just kind of creates a need, and I'm sure they'll get someone to fill it, but it's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I just think that I don't know. It's unfortunate. We do seem to reload at running back. I do like how deep it is, and um, you prefer to keep a guy like that. But at the end of the
I got something
day,
to throw to you, Shuddy. I saw
yeah.
people on Twitter comparing. They're already calling it the next Bucky Irving move. Do you feel that it's going to be on that
Ooh.
size?
So that I was actually going to bring that up, right? Because it is sort of like at that time, Bucky was behind Mo, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Mo went down, and I
Yeah.
think someone else went down too, but it was Bucky
Bucky
and
and
Ty Thomas sharing the load,
yeah, right. And
and they
but
both
I
left.
think it's just a reload, right? To say that Feme is going to be the next Bucky, I mean that is a great compliment. But he does have that. He does have a skill. Wherever he goes, he's going to be running back number one for sure. And so yeah, I think that it's possible, but in terms of the running back room at Minnesota, I'm not con- too deeply concerned about it. And again, in this day and age with the transfer portal, right? Like, if you're throwing money at a kid wherever you are, I don't blame them for, taking that
Right.
up. It's hard to turn it down. And he's obviously a guy that probably can go get something out there. And yeah, good for
I
him.
don't I don't know if they're interested, but like the Nebraska podcast people too have been all over Feme going into the portal, and so he's gonna have suitors. Like there's enough
Yeah,
people
Yeah.
aware of him.
right.
Guess we could kind of transition to the receiver guys. Kendrick
Yeah,
Lanier, Malachi Coleman, I think is the main one hitting the hitting the portal. I see Dave's
yeah.
comment. Coleman only knows 3 routes. True,
Kind of seemed
but
like
he
that,
was
right? Yeah.
but he was also. I mean, we're gonna lose um, Lemecki to graduation. So you would thought, or at least I thought, that Malachi Coleman was like, okay, he comes back. You have him, Jalen Smith, and Javon Tracy to build around. So those are kind of your main three. Lanier doesn't surprise me that much because we literally never threw him the ball. I was shocked to learn he played in 10 games and like a lot of snaps. He was averaging like 9
Yeah.
snaps a game, which surprised me because literally, did we ever target him? Maybe like twice,
He did a
unless it
lot
was
of blocking.
garbage time. Yeah, he was great at blocking. And so, former 4-star kid, another one that doesn't work out. Here, I'm kind of taking this subject a different way, so I shouldn't, but I'm just going to throw this thought out there, and you guys can touch on the actual receiver room. It's clear to me that PJ thinks the O-line coach and receiver coach are the right guys to get the job done, and that it's a personnel issue because receivers, we just constantly reload that room every year, try and get it to work, reshuffle. We're already offering some Division II players, it sounds like, or interested. I don't know if you can offer Division II, and that's what we've done, and so that's why they've tweeted that out. But so yeah, they're trying to upgrade the receiver room for sure. I see a lot of opposing fans pointing out, oh, Minnesota's already have 5 receivers hit the portal. They barely outside of Coleman, and I guess Kendrick played, but not anything meaningful really, like to the passing game. It's that's been a pretty constant thing for this receiver room. So we'll see what they do.
Great point. And it's interesting. You said it earlier, Curdy. We're not there at practice, right? The majority of, to see talent and to see how things, go with all the personnel there. It's just odd that it does seem like on paper, right? It seems like the Gophers are able to reload and get some really good talent, it seems, in that receiver room. Yet we don't really necessarily utilize them all. And I don't know if I don't know it is that a player issue or is it a coaching issue? I feel like it's a coaching issue, right? This is I feel like you develop young players. Now it's hard to do that in the light of the NIL and the transfer portal, et cetera. But if you have all this talent you should be able to get them to a place where they can perform in your offense, right? And
Right.
I know it's hard it's hard to do that with the transfer portal, but we just haven't really seen that. And so I don't know how to
That's
feel about it.
that's the thing. If it's not a coaching issue, then it's a huge talent evaluation issue of guys you think you can get to work in this offense, because we see this year in and year out. I say it. I think I've said it last year during the preseason videos you were putting out, but I'm on the train right away this time. I don't care who they bring in at receiver. Not excited till I see it. I gotta see it because I'm so
Yeah.
sick of. And the same thing with the new guys we brought in. What did PJ talk about in his press conference with all the new recruits, which I'm happy to have? Oh, this guy is so fast. We went out and we emphasized speed this time. It's like, well, you should do that every time. But uh, I'm so tired of hearing about this guy is explosive with the ball in his hand, and then we never see them see the field. So yeah, I'm with you. I think coaching should definitely be under scrutiny at that position, because most of these guys don't even end up serviceable. A lot of them don't see the field. We're using Coy on offense at receiver to whatever. I don't know, but yeah, sorry. Just yeah,
Right.
I think at the very least, if it's not a coaching issue, then it's a talent evaluation issue.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a trend now. I mean, we've seen Dalen Wright out of A&M. We saw Williams last year out of Georgia, and now Coleman. And Coleman got used the most of all of them, and he was still way
Corey
underutilized.
Crooms, yeah,
Yeah, like
Oof.
we bring in these guys, and Crooms maybe a little different. He's maybe the odd one out of that group. I feel like the other ones is they were specifically brought in as like a big mismatch fast wide receiver, and they don't even get in goal line pass situations. Like that's the one time you'd expect them out there, and it just yeah, whether it's they aren't ready, they haven't developed, or we just can't figure out a way to fit them into the scheme. It's a problem because especially now you're paying these guys to come here to do
right.
what, and that could be said about a lot of the transfers coming in. We won't get into that ordeal. That'll probably be an off-season topic, but it just feels like now more than ever, like you've got to hit on these transfers you're bringing in. Otherwise, it's a sunk cost. Like you're not getting that money back.
Right. And everyone misses on receivers. It's just that none of, I mean, we have like one alpha receiver, and that's really it. We've really struggled to get back to the Rashad Bateman Tyler Johnson duo. And I get you're not always going to get the two NFL wide receivers on your roster at the same time, but like it'd be nice to get one. I mean, we haven't gotten anyone drafted since those two. And, we'll be into year 10 of PJ next year. So it's kind of his thing too, is receivers. So I think it's definitely something to be watching for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I guess I kind of will clump both of these guys, Malachi and Lanier, into that. I thought that they had potential,
Hey,
but
I thought Lanier was going to be gone last year. I thought a lot of the guys were going to be gone last year, and they actually stuck
yeah,
around. So, but
right.
again, like I'm sure new K's. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. I haven't seen anything on him. He's still here, I guess. And he's explosive with the ball in his hands. We've heard it for 4 years now. Haven't seen
Yeah.
it, but yeah. Hey, I hope it works out, and that's a great selling point to use now. Like, hey, we got spots open. Come to Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's either us or Iowa.
And
Yeah.
I guess the silver lining though of it all is I'd rather keep Smith than Coleman and Lanier at the same time.
Oh yeah,
Like if I'd rather keep the guys we're going to use, and that's why I think losing Feme is so big. Where it's like we didn't even use them as much as we should have, and we still lost them. Like
yeah.
I don't know. That's I guess the glimmer of hope for wide receiver is kept the guys that
Yeah,
did
I mean,
play.
yeah, Tracy and Smith showed potential for sure. So to have them both back next year it's not the worst starting grounds. I think we've definitely had worse receiver rooms than that. So
Right.
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. And that's kind of the news so far. I see Dave chimed in here. He says,
Oh
on a
man,
scale from 1 to 10, how much do you think PJ will leave for Michigan? 1.
Zero.
-1.
Yeah,
They won't take
I
him.
don't think so. No.
I get it. He was in Western Michigan. He's shown to, people think it's really hard to be consistent here, which to an extent it is. And he's been consistent here. And that gets a lot of props from the outside college football world. I don't think they're taking him after a year like you had where you lost to Cal. Who's the other loss? The Northwestern loss. I just don't think Michigan would be excited. And they're going to they can open the checkbook and get a lot of good candidates. So if they took PJ, I would be shocked, to be honest. I just don't think it's the time. And if with this cycle, since Dave brought it up, now that we've seen this cycle, I'm not saying PJ could never leave, but like I'm never gonna be worried about it. We just had all these marquee jobs open up, and like he was rumored for a hot second to be in like Arkansas's initial 10. And I know that CBS writer listed him as in like a potential candidate for Michigan. I don't buy PJ there as a candidate for a second, like a serious candidate.
Right.
I mean, even if they want to go the culture cleanup route or whatever, I don't think they're not gonna let themselves stoop in their minds as low and get and stoop down to get PJ just for the sake of imaging. There's too much money involved. There's too much. They're gonna be able to go out and get whoever. Yeah, and like he says, he also struggles with half of his rivals, and they don't want to deal with a coach that's going to struggle against Michigan State or Ohio State, and those teams are going to be really competitive. So, yeah, I don't think it's anything we have to talk about much.
Right. All right. Well, let's talk about this bowl game, fellas. So the Gophers are taking on the New Mexico Lobos in the Rate Bowl on December 26th at 3:30 p.m. Cool bowl game. I wasn't expecting to maybe play New Mexico, and on paper I was like, but New Mexico is pretty good. They're a 9-3 football team. They did really well in the Mountain West. They came in second in the Mountain West. So I think it's no team to kind of look past for sure. So it'll be a good challenge in postseason football.
Here are the vibes. I'm talking straight vibes only to start before we get into X's and O's players to watch. It's a no-win situation for the Gophers because if you beat New Mexico, everyone's like, all right, nice job. You beat the second place team, Mountain West. And on top of that, like you can try. I hope they are. I'm not making excuses. I just don't believe we're going to be as fired up to play New Mexico as we would have been if it would have been Iowa State, who it was going to be. They backed out. Kansas State would have then had the choice. They backed out. So in Phil's New Mexico, who, like you said, and I'm not saying that to discredit New Mexico. I think New Mexico's a good team. They beat UCLA. They played Michigan tough for a while in the Big House this year. So it's not an easy game to win to begin with, just given the current Gopher roster. So, and if you do lose, everyone's gonna be like, "Well, you just lost to a Mountain West team." They don't care to look into that New Mexico's a solid team this year. Like it's a no-win situation. So I hope the Gophers come out ready to play. It's one of the only ones the day after Christmas, I believe. So you do get a lot of potential people tuning in. So hopefully they treat it like a meaningful one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just start with looking at the offense for the New Mexico Lobos. So just sort of looking at their statistics as a team in general. Their quarterback, Jack Lane, sorry, 2,398. It's almost 2,400 yards. 66% completion rate, which is great. 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He has been sacked 28 times. And, running back Damon Bankston, 578 yards on the year. solid, but I do think that maybe their main thing is probably relying on going through the air. Haven't watched a lot of New Mexico football. I just did a few clip watches here. But yeah, Max, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely rely on the ground game mostly. But yeah, it is like they do have two running backs, Bankson and McKinley, that do kind of split the load. Neither's like the standout superstar, but they both kind of share the load on the ground. But it is a lot of kind of a little bit of read option, a little bit of, they try to use motion and misdirection and things like that to try to, they run more than they pass, but they do get more out of the pass. Like you said, it seems like just with kind of the short intermediate routes that they run. But their top wide receiver, he is pretty good. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but out of their top four pass catchers, two of them are their tight ends, and then one of them is the other running back. So yeah, like they definitely rely on the short intermediate passing. It seemed like you're just kind of reading some things on what New Mexico fans kind of write or what the writers write about is that their offensive line does struggle in pass protection, which might
Anthony
make a lot of
Smith.
sense. Yeah,
Field
exactly. But that might be kind of why they had to rely on the ground game. I guess the other thing too that stood out is they do have a backup quarterback, James Lubenstein, who will come in as a runner, and he was really fast, and he broke off a couple big ones in their last one against SDSU. So they've got nothing too scary offensively, but they kind of do everything just okay. I mean, they run pretty well, but I don't know. But the things they do well are the things that we've struggled against, which is the change-up, fast quarterback, intermediate passing, and just they're going to just consistently hit you on the ground. You can't miss tackles and you can't get out of position.
Yeah, the tight end's a really good player. He was first team Mountain West Conference. Dorian Thomas. They're not. I think they do have a receiver that leads it, but Dorian Thomas is right there. 545 yards on 53 catches, 4 touchdowns. He is a mismatch. Like he's. I was hoping he's a guy that would like announce his intentions at the portal prior to this game happening. I have no idea if he's a senior. Maybe he's out of eligibility and just had like the one last, fully developed senior breakout season. I don't know his past, but he is a good player, someone to watch out for. And then, does the name Johnson sound familiar to anybody? Their leading receiver, former Iowa Hawkeye. He leads their team in receiving yards. He went from Iowa to Kansas State to his last year here at New Mexico. So he is the receiver. What year was that? So the time at Kinnick before we won, he's the one that caught like that quick receiver screen pass, and we had him wrapped up and then just kind of let him go. It was like a 1-point game, and then he just ran the last 30 yards in the end zone. So he's used to scoring against the Gophers, is what I'm trying to say. So a familiar guy there to watch out for. He's a guy that Iowa, I remember being really excited about, but it was Iowa's offense, so it never really got excited. But they were disappointed when he hit the portal. And he left for Kansas State to try and get more involved. That didn't really work out for him either, so he ended up at New Mexico for his last year. And 57 catches for 700 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was honorable mention for the Mountain West Conference, so good on him. I'm with you guys. Like, I did look into the conference awards because I was trying to see, like, okay, they're running the ball pretty effectively. Is it their O-line pretty good? I think they had one lineman listed on, like, media second team. I didn't even write down his name. So I might be wrong on that. So like you guys brought up the stats, they do struggle. So if it is something where you can be gap sound, fundamentally sound, everyone does their assignment, I do think the D line has the potential to kind of tee off and just blitz them, like get after them. So the tight end will make that challenging, right? Because he can create some mismatches and just be a safety net over the middle of the field. So, Mav or whoever's covered, maybe Williams might have their hands full a little bit. But if you can take away safety net, get them in passing situations, I do think we have the ability to get after them a little bit up front.
Yeah. They are a team that will get creative, though. Like, just a couple of the games I've kind of watched back, though, I don't know. They've done some sneaky little things that they don't always result in big plays, but it's just things that are kind of unique. Like like I said, they use motion differently. They'll do different formations that look like one thing, and then it ends up being another. They'll run a couple trick plays. They did that against San Diego State as well. So yeah, they're sneaky, I guess. They might be kind of a pesky offense to deal with.
Right.
Yeah, they look fast too. I don't know if it's just competition, but like, and against UCLA, I thought they looked kind of fast too. But they got some guys. They got individual players that are speedy. So, and given how turned around our defensive backs have gotten, I'm curious to see how that goes. But
right,
you know, PJ's had a really good record in bowls, so hopefully the defense is ready to go. And you know, I don't know. The tough thing too with talking through these matchups, it's like we don't know yet what players are playing and whatnot. Like, does Anthony Smith get a big boost out of this? Like, that's the thing. Like, if this was Kansas State, I have a better, you know, I have a feeling that you have a better chance of having all your guys play like Anthony Smith that's going to the NFL. So I think Devin Eastern would play no matter what, just to put out more good tape. And I mean, this team won 9 games, so I think NFL teams will take that into account for sure. So hopefully all those guys play. It's just another. We're not oblivious to that. This is a bowl game, and players kind of, you know, not necessarily blame them, but they look after themselves and will rest up if needed instead of pushing through for this end of the year game.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, to kind of high level, just to call it out too. I mean, the Gophers are just a 2.5 point favorite. Like, Vegas is expecting this to be a close one. You see a Mountain West team that's not Boise State, you think we'd be against a power conference opponent. You'd think they'd be a 10-point dog, but it could be a close one. Like,
it's the day after Christmas. I don't know. I don't have great feelings about the game, to be honest. I don't feel like our players will want to be there. You know what I mean? Yeah, me and Dave. Why do I have a weird feeling that this could be the first game that we lose in a long time? I think the Lobos are pretty good. Yeah, no, I feel the exact same way. I think they are a pretty good team. And we're just like, New Mexico. But I will say, New Mexico Lobos, that's a great school name. That is
it is.
Yeah.
At least it's not something, generic. Another Tigers or Hawks or something. They did a good job with their school name.
Right. All right. Well, let's transition to their defense, fellas. Defensively, I was just kind of, again, looking at some of their guys. It's probably their D lineman, Jackson Eck. This guy has 126 total tackles.
It's
which
the
is
most
insane.
From a Lobo since which Hall of Fame NFL linebacker do you know?
Would that be Brian Urlacher?
It would be Brian Urlacher. Well done, Max. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that is insane to have 126 total tackles, 64 solo. Only 1.5 sacks, though. Is he? I haven't watched much. Is he a D line that kind of rolls up on the? Is he like a backer that kind of comes up, or what's his role?
That's what my assumption was too. Because if you go to the Mountain West website, he won co-defensive player of the year for the entire conference, and they listed him as a linebacker. So I'm guessing he's like that edge guy that can line up on the line, but. Like you said, I noticed only the 1.5 sacks as well. And I think not only, but 6 tackles for loss. So a lot of his tackles are coming as a true run stopping linebacker. So that's
sounds like an athlete.
His bio. Yeah, he's like a run tackler machine. He's a very stout linebacker against the run.
Yeah.
So.
Is he the son or nephew of the head coach? Because the head coach is Jason Eck.
That's a great
Unless
point.
It's just a weird coincidence.
I don't know. But the head coach is from Wisconsin. I know that. He grew up in Wisconsin, I believe.
Yeah, he played at Wisconsin too.
Or maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what I saw.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he didn't get the axe back. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What else do you guys think about their D?
It is it is pretty stout against the run. That seems to be the MO is they run the ball, and they've been pretty good against the run. A couple other guys that were listed on there. Keyshawn James Newby, he was first team All Mountain West Conference. I believe he's in. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. He's just listed as a D lineman. I don't know if he's interior or on the edge. And then Brian Booker was honorable mention. So their best players on defense look to be up front. They have a safety with 3 picks, but he's way down there as far as the team as total tackles. So I don't know, if that's a guy that just is kind of in there and the ball finds him, or if that's a starting safety that also is a ball hawk. I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of tackles. But anyway, the stats and the players that made all conference and they got the awards appear to be they stopped the run first and kind of obvious, but try and put you in obvious passing situations and get off the field that way and get the ball back to their offense to run it on you. So, the O-line, I'm excited to see the young guys, Roy, Johnson, all the guys that are back. I'm sure Beers will still play, but I hope they mix in some of the young guys on the right side, at least the guys that they think are coming back just to get them some playing time because it is a solid front. I know it's Mountain West, but they have some good guys out there. So, live bullets are definitely worth seeing here because they got some quality players on the other side.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head with their run D is very good, which is a little bit surprising just with how small they actually are up front and at the linebacker position. But I mean, they technically play very well. They don't miss a lot of tackles, and they're always kind of in the right spot. So it's gonna be a big one for just getting a hat on a hat and making sure that we've got guys to cover up their guys because they're not going to miss run fits and they're not going to miss tackles. So this is going to be a really important one for the offensive line to have a good game, and for our running backs and ball carriers to make some guys miss because they are pretty stout on the interior of their defense. But yeah, overall, interesting too that both of so on one side their defensive end has 8 sacks, Keyshawn James Newby, and on the opposite side, Brett Carew also has 7 sacks. So they don't have like just one standout pass rusher. It's going to come from both sides. So another problem to look out for our offensive line as well. But I'm hoping that we can take advantage of their size compared to ours, and we can maybe neutralize that a little bit. But I guess we'll see.
I have a feeling this is just that description makes me feel like, okay, who are they going to load up with carries then? I feel like it's going to be like the Cam Davis farewell game where he gets like 18 carries, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns or something like that. I mean, because Turner's not coming back for this game. He's out hurt.
Right.
Darius, maybe. I'm sure Darius will play. Is this the bowl game where you give Darius Taylor 30 carries with PJ? Maybe it is, but I feel like they'll give Cam Davis a nice farewell. And again, I know this isn't the only reason for the bowl game, but I would like to see the 2 true freshmen who are basically next in line now get out there in Washington. And I don't have the depth chart out in front of me, so I apologize to the other guy that is a freshman this year on scholarship, but I'm sure those 2 will be involved. And I will say PJ does a good job, and the coaching staff in general, obviously, of getting them ready to play the game, but they always do something kind of fun in these bowl games. Like last year,
Right.
Brosmer and Drake, I think they had a play or 2 where they're both out there at the same time, and they ran like a little reverse pass thing. So they make it fun, and I think that's the right way to go about a game like this where, doesn't really do a whole lot for you. You're not going to really hang this banner up necessarily, in the practice facility when you win it, if you win it. So they do a good job handling it. So I'm just excited to see what the twist is on offense. Is Anthony Smith going to get some snaps at tight end or something, or is Devin Eastern going to line up as like a fullback? I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there of stuff they've done and shown to have fun. It'll probably just be Coy's running Wildcat QB if he plays or something.
I was going to say with the holes.
I want to see our kicker's speed.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Line him up as a slot receiver.
Yeah,
that would be good.
Yeah. Oh, actually, thank you for reminding me, Spence. It's not as exciting, but I did see that New Mexico's kicker on the year was 15 of 16 and 6 of 6 from 40 plus. So
wow,
so they get in range. He's money.
Yeah.
They
also
to pay attention.
While
NIL boosters.
They had the first team Mountain West punt returner in Damian Bankston. So they are legit on special teams then, which also makes me worry for this matchup.
These are all problems.
Yeah, it's all like, oh, we don't really do that very well. So
they're just an
although the
overall
punt coverage
consistent
team, yeah, well coached. I mean, their coach won Coach of the Year. They were projected to be second to last, I believe, in most of the preseason polls, and they took or they were runner up, as you said already. So, yeah.
And that's a pretty impressive thing, just taking a look at New Mexico. Like, they had a solid season last year, and then they lost their quarterback. Devin Dampier at Utah now transferred from New Mexico, and they brought the offensive coordinator along with him. So they lost their quarterback and OC, and they still had the year that they had this season, which is impressive. And they went on a 6-game win streak to end the season. So
they're hot. The Lobos are hot.
Yeah, they're not to be messed with.
You don't trifle a Lobo.
No, you don't.
All right. Well, with that being said, do you guys have keys to the game, score predictions?
Nah, no. Yeah. All right. I think you just got to kind of like Max said, offensively. I think you just got to try and like ground and pound them. I know they're good against the run, but I think, like Max said, you got the size advantage. So get the run game going. Set up some one-on-one opportunities down the field for Drake to hit. Feel really good about Drake in this game. I think there's nothing they're going to throw at him that he won't be able to handle. I actually think the O-line will be okay too, as long as they're. That sounds obvious, but fundamentally sound like all on the same page. I don't think they'll get out athleted, hopefully, in this one. So I think that could be an advantage. Defensively, stop the run because that's what they want to do. Sounds obvious, but it's true. And then get him to third and long situations where Anthony Smith and company can just tee off and sack them. I'm just hoping to get a farewell touchdown from Gears, although he looked pretty hurt after that celebration. So I don't know if we've seen the last of Jamison Gears or not. But yeah, that's what I just look forward to in these bowl games. It's one last Gopher game. Saying goodbye to a lot of great guys. Lemecki, Devin Eastern, Anthony Smith, Devin Williams, who was probably the most improved player. Just a lot of good guys all around. I know I didn't get them all. Ashton Beers, the guy that stuck it out and just found his role on the team. So, yeah, just looking forward to watching them all play. I think they pull out. It's not a comfortable win, but I think they get it done. I'm going Gophers 24, New Mexico 20.
I like it.
I like it. Yeah, I can go next. We have the exact same score prediction, Kurt. I've got Gophers winning as well, 24-20.
Wow.
Kind of similar keys. Just, take advantage of the size up front, kind of on both sides, but specifically our offensive line. I don't expect us, just with the year we've had and the way the offensive line is played, to just come out and run for 200 yards. But hopefully in just key situations or short yardage situations, we can take advantage of that size advantage. And defensively, just no missed assignments, no missed tackles. I mean, broken plays are kind of what this offense needs to create explosive plays. But like I said, they're going to get a little bit tricky. They're going to do things that distract you. They're going to, like I mentioned, the backup quarterback that will come in to run. He will throw too, and he will also hand it off. Like, he's going to come in, he's going to run it a few times, get the eyes looking at him, and then the ball's going somewhere else you don't expect it to go. So we just got to stick to our keys. Can't get out of position. We can't fall for little tricks in the motions and formations they're going to do to us. And the third one is really just overall passing efficiency. Just because we're down a couple of receivers, so we got to make sure that the guys that are playing are ready. I trust Drake to hit the open receivers and obviously make the right reads, but we also just can't wear down Darius if he's going to be the main ball carrier. So having an effective pass game is going to be pretty important.
Get ready for 4 tight ends out there. That's all I'm saying.
It could be.
Yeah, for me, I think just a couple things. One, win the turnover battle. I think that's going to be big. I think that their turnover ratio is -6, so I think that turnovers will be there. So generating them would be great, and also limiting our own. So that's number one. Number two, I'd like for us to establish the running game to open up the pass. I feel like I've said that a lot during these goals or keys to the game. But I think that, with the O line kind of clicking as it had been against Wisconsin, maybe just kind of bring that energy into this game and use the run to open up the pass. And then three, have fun. It's the last game, like you said, Kurt. A lot of these great guys that is the last time dressing up in the maroon and gold. So just go out there, have fun, open up the playbook. Let's see them wheels on the kicker. Let's do some razzle dazzle.
That's right.
Yeah, let's just see how it goes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's it. Score prediction: 35-17 Gophers.
That's right. Take that, Lobos. Gopher holes. I'm trying to think. Do these guys encounter each other? Maybe Gophers make holes in their territory and they're sprinting along and they just break their ankle. That's what's going to happen out there. No one's going to get hurt. We're just going to win. That's all right. I looked up, because Anthony Smith got to 10.5 or 10 sacks. I think 10 or 10.5. I was just curious, how many he would need to break the single season record. Do you guys know the single season record for an individual Gopher? This is according to, the little blurb that pops up at the top of Google. So maybe AI's wrong. Tim Gildenhaus, 23 sacks in 1978. 23. Is that right? It says,
man.
Gildenhaus.
That's a lot.
I was gonna throw that out there, something to watch for, maybe Anthony Smith can tee off and get to I thought the record maybe would be maybe if he could get 5 and gets to 15.5 and he breaks the 15, but forget that. The single season record is 23. Jeez,
not happening.
Not happening. Looks like second place was 15.5 by Jalen Green. I know this is wrong because it says 2023, and I don't know a Jalen Green. No.
Maybe we can break our own team record again.
Maybe. Yeah.
For a game.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing the Gophers play in Arizona. But to finish off today, we wanted to kind of preview or just look at these college football playoff games. Some cool matchups. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should we just go through the...
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want you... Hold on, really quick, before we jump game to game. Do we agree that they got it right? For the format that they have, did they get it right? With Notre Dame dropping out, Miami moving in?
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that they got it right. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
There's just and what are your thoughts on Notre Dame just dropping out of the bowl season altogether?
Petty, kind of. It's petty, pathetic. Their AD was just kind of on that wah status.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel bad because it's a reflection on Freeman. I don't know. It's a reflection on Freeman and the Notre Dame football team right now. They just look even worse. People already don't really like Notre Dame. Now we really don't like you. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're Notre Dame, how do they come up with a decision like that? I don't know how they do. Freeman make the decision as the head coach? I would think that he has a lot to say about that. Is it the AD? Do they ask the players and then they have a vote, or do the captains sort of? I would hope so too, right? So
I hope it was a true team vote, because there's a lot of seniors that probably would have gotten to play that don't play a lot in this bowl game. And
right.
That's their only and last chance to play football. So I hope it truly was that, and not
yeah.
We're done. It does look bad. I do think the hate for Notre Dame. Also, why does this always come back to Notre Dame needs to be in a conference? Do you guys share that thought process at all? It's fine if you do. I
Uh,
just don't. I don't understand it.
I don't I don't I don't think that they do need to be in it, because if they build their schedule that's, tough,
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
it's fine. I think people get irked because they don't play for a conference championship, but it's been shown that that really doesn't matter, especially with these
Right.
expanded playoffs, right? So
Right.
you can get in with not even going to a conference championship game, winning your so it really doesn't. It certainly doesn't matter anymore. I think it just furthers, their argument as to why they wouldn't want to be. But so long as they're not playing like, you know, low tier teams every year, but they play USC every year, right? They play,
Yeah.
um,
And I guess that's going away, but that was USC's doing, not Notre Dame's.
right,
And,
right,
and
but
that's kind of my
yeah,
thing. And Max, if you feel differently, go ahead and feel free to share. But I always felt like Notre Dame didn't change. They had their set of rivals. They usually play
yeah,
Navy. They usually play USC. They mix in Michigan and Michigan State and Purdue in there. And this year, it's not their fault that Purdue was down. They still played Pitt. They played Miami and they played A&M. Like, their schedule was plenty hard. They lost 2 games.
oh
They didn't
yeah,
get in. Yeah, they're upset, but the strong urge to like force them into a conference, I don't understand it. To me, it doesn't do anything for me. Why would I want Notre Dame in the Big Ten? Another juggernaut that the Gophers get rotated
yeah,
into play every year.
Right.
Like, the only
disaster.
teams, I feel like it's the big fan bases that want to push them in to make sure that their path is just as hard. But I also feel like it's like they don't want their conference to be like viewed as weaker if Notre Dame joins the other one. So there's all this pressure. Like, I feel like I see a lot
Yeah.
of like Michigan and Ohio State fans like, no, join the Big Ten, join the Big Ten. And then SEC are like, we'll take you too. Like, join the SEC. So I think, and that's the way. That's why I think the TV guys bring it up. But I don't know, Max. Maybe you feel differently if they should be in a conference or not.
No, I don't think they necessarily have to be in a conference, and especially because it seemed like for a while there, the big rumor was that they were going to join the ACC, which would have been no fun at all, and it would have been a boost to the ACC, and
That
it would have
conference
made
is a
them look
mess.
better.
But yeah,
Yeah, but I don't want to see Notre Dame playing NC State like I don't know. I like that Notre Dame has their own thing. I guess it's like kind of the one old tradition that's just it's kind of
yeah,
Still,
they
always
didn't
been that
change with the
way.
exactly.
times.
It's the
Right.
one of the last bits of traditional college football, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess the bit about like, well, no, they don't get to win a conference championship, so they don't get an automatic bid, but they have the advantage of they get to, they get their own schedule every year. So, and it's been
Yeah,
tough. Like, I'm not saying that that's, it's not like they make it easy on themselves, but
right. Right. I
they
feel
get
like
it
we've
both
seen the pros
ways.
and cons. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we've seen the pros and cons of it. They missed the college football playoff this year.
Yeah.
So I just don't get. I was like, well, just join a real conference. You won't have to complain. It's like their schedule was plenty
That's
hard.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're the only
they
team
played.
that can they're the only team that can play themselves out of the playoffs. Like everyone else has to
Right.
win their way in. Notre Dame, rightfully so. I mean, they've been good. They just get slotted in, and it's like, all right. I mean, they
Yeah.
won 2 games this year, or they lost 2 games this year to good teams, but they still lost 2 games, and it was still like they could make it.
They were
Still,
right
no
there.
other team has that
Exactly.
advantage. So
Last
it
thing
is
on
what it
Notre
is.
Dame, I've become a Notre Dame defender from all this stuff on the internet. I do think it's incredibly lame to just skip out on the bowl game. I just gotta say that. Like,
it
it's a
is.
fun thing. Yeah, your feelings got hurt, so you crapped out, and I guess for someone that holds into the tradition of college football, that was lame of them to dip out.
It is.
That's go ahead.
It is lame, and it's really disappointing if the players vote, because I don't see how you're an AD or a coach. We're just not going to do it. You have to get input
I
from your
believe
team,
the AD.
right? Like,
I have a feel like the AD was pushing for them to just boycott and say that's what's up. Because they want to hurt. They blame ESPN. See, they blame ESPN because they don't want to give ESPN the ad revenue that they would get for having Notre Dame in a bowl game, which I kind of get, but I still think they should have played in a bowl game. Just it's more fun for
yeah,
everybody, but whatever. If they voted on it, they voted on it. So it is what it is. I'm still going to watch the bowl games that happen with or without Notre Dame. The last thing I got to bring up that is just because it was bothering me so much. Everyone was running around freaking out because starting next year, if the playoff extends to 14 teams and Notre Dame is ranked 13 or higher, they're guaranteed a playoff spot. And everybody was running around like, this is such bull crap. Notre Dame royalty, yada, 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 get all these unfair advantages. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what team ranked 13 in a 14 team playoff won't make the playoff? Do you know the scenario that would have to come up for you to not make the playoff? I mean, look at this year. You had 2 non-power 4 conference champs make it. And the team ranked what is Miami 10 or whatever still made it in. Like it all that would have changed if that rule was in place was Notre Dame and BYU would have also made it this year, and all the other teams that were already in it would have still been in. And I just saw people.
And I think those 2 teams are deserving. Like if it was expanded, right?
Right. No, and I just that's what I'm like. People think like, oh, this rule is built in just to protect Notre Dame. It's like, well, yeah, maybe it's ridiculous that an actual assurance got written out, but when wouldn't the 13th ranked team make a 14-team playoff in that scenario?
Right.
I just don't understand when it wouldn't happen, and everyone was just using it as like it's because it all happened at the same time, right? So everyone was just like dogpiling on Notre Dame. Anyway, this turned into a 10-minute segment on Notre Dame football, and I just had to get that off my chest.
The last thing I want to add about the Notre Dame saga is the AD calling out the ACC conference and how they have like ruined their relationship and all this. And all I could think of was like, yeah, they want Miami. Like, why would they not do that?
His counter argument was so pathetic too. Like, well, you should have made the conversation more Bama versus Notre Dame, not Notre Dame versus Miami. And it's like, you don't think they tried that for a second? Like, what do you mean? Like, he probably got the vibe pretty quick that, oh, well, they're not going to take Alabama out for losing the conference championship, which, I mean, I could have listened to that argument. I would have been fine with it, to be honest. Like, does anyone think Alabama's going to win the national championship? No. I mean, I don't think Notre Dame was going to win it this year either, but I probably would have thought that Notre Dame had a better chance than Bama right now, but not that that means anything. I have no problems with how it played out, and I agree that argument was ridiculous. Of course, they want to give it to Miami, who beat you, so we're making the regular season game actually count.
Right.
And
he kind of was just saying it out loud of like what a lot of online Notre Dame fans scream is just, we're the bigger brand. Let us in, which is ridiculous. I know it's not every fan, but it gets old.
Yeah. Win football games. It's that easy.
Win your games.
It's a beautiful thing about sports. At the end of the day, you just got to win. Forget all the other stuff. Just win.
All right. I have one other tangent to get to, and it's important. I'm sorry. I wanted to get this out in a separate episode, but my body was failing me. So let me find the actual. I just had a cold. If anyone's actually concerned, that was okay. Here's with last year's format. Okay, first, actually, can you read through the first round games, Spencer? Do you have that in front of you?
I have it in front of me. First round games. We'll start from the top of the bracket. James Madison goes to Oregon. Texas Tech is on the bye. Alabama is at Oklahoma. Indiana's on the bye. Tulane is at Ole Miss. Then Georgia's on the bye. And then Miami is at Texas A&M, while Ohio State is on the bye.
Here's what the playoffs would have been if we would have kept last year's format. All right. So this year, Bama Oklahoma rematch to start. In my opinion, lame.
Very.
So here's what you could have had: Texas A&M versus Oklahoma. That would have been a whole game for A&M. You would have had Ohio State hosting JMU. Winner goes on to play Tulane. So they would have gotten the Penn State path from last year. And the winner of Oklahoma A&M, I should say, goes on to play number 1 Indiana. You would have had Ole Miss versus Bama, and home game for Ole Miss. with Lane Kiffin ties to both, winner going on to play Georgia. Then you would have had Oregon hosting Miami and Mario Cristobal returning to the school he left, winner going on to play Texas Tech. It would have been incredible matchups, in my opinion. In my opinion, more entertaining first round matchups than what we're getting this year. And everyone just freaked out because Oregon had to play Ohio State in their first game because, Ohio State lost the game they never should have lost last year. And so we freaked out and switched the format. I think they had it right. Tulane would have gotten to start 2 games away from a national championship. Joe Klatt made headlines today because he said nobody wants to see a Cinderella story in college football. Completely disagree. That's why we have the fifth conference champ getting into the tournament to begin with, because we want
why
to
do we
see.
have that then?
Yeah. Everyone's like, there's only 12 teams. We don't need a Cinderella. No, I'm fine with the Cinderella because there's only like 4 or 5 teams every year that can win it anyway. So why does it matter if the 12th and 13th team are being debated and we give a shot to JMU and Tulane? So I completely disagree with that line of thinking to begin with. The old format sets you up to give you that Cinderella and way more compelling first round matchups. I think it was a huge mistake to ditch it after 1 year. And look how important conference championship games were last year, with where it dictated where everyone went. Now, what's everyone's complaint this year? Well, they got to get rid of conference championship games. All these TV people, all these people on networks, SEC Network, Big Ten Network, well, the conference championship games just have to go away because they just don't mean anything anymore. You're not penalized now. Now that's the big thing. You don't get penalized for the conference championship game. Or you might not want to make it and just get to sit in and sit there. Last year's format, they mattered. And they changed how things were seeded and significantly. So, because if Bama and Georgia win, then it's flip-flop, right? Because Bama would have won and gotten the first round bye more than likely, and you would have been sitting there with Georgia having to do, let's see, it depends where they would have fallen, I guess, but you could have had like a Georgia-Oklahoma. Yeah, you would have had a Georgia-Oklahoma first round and then an Ole Miss A&M game. So I'm just saying I think they messed up by switching them away from that format.
Can you remind us, Kurt, what was the format last year and what's different this year?
The 4 buys went to the 4 highest ranked conference champs. Now it's just the 4 highest ranked teams. So that's why it's Georgia, Indiana, and Ohio State, and Texas Tech who get the buys. In this format, it would have been Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, and Tulane with the buys. So Ohio State would have been punished for granted, I get they would have taken this path in a heartbeat, having to play JMU and then Tulane, but they're still punished for losing that conference championship game and forced to play a home game right away. And I just think that's more rewarding. That's more college football, and that puts emphasis on the conference championship games. So I think they're really messed up here, and I'm really sick of the Joe Klatts and all the TV people telling us what we need, all for the sake of ratings. That's everyone's argument now. Is what's better for ratings, and it's just I'm so sick of it. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely gonna go watch this Troy Jacksonville State game, so I don't need ratings to
right
to dictate how the playoffs go. Yeah, I think most college football fans just enjoy college football.
Yeah, and like you're not getting enough big brands in there. Like you already have Oklahoma, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon. Like what else do you need? Right. Like I'm sorry Notre Dame didn't get in this year. Right.
And it all comes back to like why play the games then? Like what does it really matter?
I think that's the thing that the TV people are pushing for that they don't want to admit live on TV. It's that the more spots you add in, it's just the bigger safety net for all the big teams that start up ranked so high preseason. And we've seen how big of a factor that is with Vandy getting propped up as high as they did, who didn't beat anybody. And I do think they're a solid team, but like they're still ranked way up there. Did Missouri and did Tennessee finally fall out the last week, the last rankings? I think they finally fell out.
They did.
But they went all year beating nobody and were ranked all year just because of preseason hype. So anyway, that's my tangent. I'm sorry. I just thought it was interesting.
It is interesting.
Make me CFP commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could pick these games now.
Yeah. It'll just be interesting to see in the future what's going to change because things are going to keep changing, obviously. All right. Well, let's just go down to the first round here. So James Madison is at Oregon. They are giving Oregon 21 points.
They're giving
I'm gonna
JMU
go.
21.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
I'm gonna go with Oregon.
Same. I think Oregon is the team that everyone
Don't give
not
in
a
to
bit
them,
of
Kurt.
the Ducks are the team that are the most, I feel like, fired up for like round one, just waiting to tear somebody's head off, And I really don't think JMU is up to task for this, so I'm good for them. Hey, they made the college football playoff. Enjoy it. I don't think it's going to be a very competitive football game.
Yeah, I would also take the Ducks in this one. Is JMU's coaching?
Yes.
That's good. I think.
Wait, no, Tulane's is. I don't know if JMU's is. I'm sorry. I take that back. I'm not sure.
Okay. And then Texas will have the bye. Texas Tech will have the bye. Then we got Alabama at Oklahoma.
Another rematch.
Yep. They're giving Alabama a 1.5. I think I'm going to go with Bama here. I know earlier in their year, I think Oklahoma won, right? But I think this time around, Bama's probably got it.
I'm going to take the Sooners at home. I think that's going to play a factor here. Bama's offense is sputtering a little bit. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. Obviously, could go either way, but I'll take the Sooners to win another ugly one at home.
Yeah, should be going. I'll probably take Alabama as well. I don't trust Oklahoma to score enough. But their defense is so good that maybe that won't matter, but I don't know. But I'm going back and forth. The health of Alabama is concerning too. I think they have got a lot of guys hurt as well. I'm going to stick with it. Bama.
Right on. All right, as we trickle down the bracket, Indiana is in that part of the bracket. They're on the bye. But then we go to Tulane on the road at Ole Miss. This is a rematch from earlier this year. They're giving the Rebels are 16 and a half. I'm sorry. It opened at 16 and a half, but now they're 17 and a half. So we'll go with 17 and a half points. Roll wave, baby. I'm going with Tulane here. They did lose.
To win or just cover?
To cover.
Yeah.
It was 10-45 earlier in the year. There is no Lane Kiffin. They're going to be fired up. Forget Joel Klatt. This is about Cinderella story. Roll wave.
I'm also taking Tulane to cover. I don't think they win. I think it's like maybe potentially late cover. I think it'll just kind of be like an old rubber band. It'll start kind of tight and just Ole Miss is going to just gradually pull away. And then the last second, Tulane hits the backdoor cover. So, yeah, I think Ole Miss wins comfortably, but Tulane sneaks in with the cover.
Yeah, I hope it's close, but I'm going to take the Rebels. I don't know that without Lane is as big of a factor for this individual game.
They're probably looking forward to the game. Maybe I said Oregon, but maybe it's Ole Miss just trying to get out and play football again instead of everyone talking about Lane Kiffin.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Next, we're going down to after Georgia because they get the bye. Miami at Texas A&M. Texas A&M are 3.5-point favorites. It opened at 4. I'm going to go with the Aggies here. And I think that they dominate, to be honest. I just have a feeling.
I don't know.
I think I'll take the points with Miami, but this one, This one could be high scoring, actually.
Yeah, I think just because it's a home game for the Aggies, I'm going to take Texas A&M. I don't feel good about it. I'm kind of hoping Miami wins, I think, just to get, I don't know. Because I'm sorry, who's the winner play of this
Ohio
one?
State.
The winner will play Ohio State.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, either one would be a good game, I guess.
Ooh, do we get the national championship rematch?
From,
Ohio State, Miami.
what is that, 2002?
Yeah.
That'd be great. I'm pulling for that, but I think A&M gets it done.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the round one games, fellas. I guess, do you have any ideas on who's going to make the semifinal games and then the national championship? I'll just give mine. I think in the semifinals, we're going to have an Indiana Oregon matchup. And then on the other side, we're going to have a Georgia Ohio State matchup. And for the national championship game, I got the rematch, the Hoosiers versus the Buckeyes. And then the national championship, or the champions, will be the Buckeyes.
Taking Ohio
That's
State
my
still.
prediction.
I agree on the well, yeah, I do agree on the Final Four. I wouldn't be shocked if Texas Tech sneaks in there, but yeah, I think I'd pick the Ducks too at this point. I'm gonna take Indiana to win it all over the Georgia Bulldogs. Some upset's got to happen somewhere, so I think Georgia pulls off the upset. We're gonna hear SEC superiority talk for getting one win in the whole thing. That was big time. And then I think Kurt Signetti gets it done. Heisman winner Mendoza gets it done, and the Hoosiers are the national champions.
An incredible
Which is
story.
crazy to say.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. My diatribe, my slight diatribe, I just have to say this. Earlier this year, Paul Feinbaum went on ESPN and was saying how dumb it was that Indiana signed Kirk Signetti to an extension. He said even if
Yeah.
they won the national championship, it was a waste of money. They should never have done something like that. I just got to say, Mr. Paul Feinbaum, you are stupid for saying that, I think. I mean, like, that's all I'll say. We all know why. It just doesn't make
There's
sense.
like maybe only 4 schools in the country, maybe 5 that wouldn't want them. Like Notre Dame,
Yeah.
Georgia, Oregon, and Ohio State. I think everybody else would be open to taking them. But
yeah. If Ohio State lost to Michigan again, I think they might change their minds.
yeah,
Even there, as crazy as that seems. But yeah, I've got the same semifinals as you, Spence. I've got Oregon against Indiana and Ohio State against Georgia. I've got Oregon pulling it off over Indiana and going to the championship game to face Ohio State. But I think Ohio State gets it done. Rematch of the 2015 national championship game. Yeah, I think Ohio State goes back to back over the Ducks.
Yeah, I just want it to be. I want them to complete it now, Indiana. I mean, they've already completed. This season's remarkable.
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah. No, I want them to go
continually. Yeah. Isn't it funny? I'm not blaming you guys because Ohio State is Ohio State, an amazing team, but I still feel like everyone's still picking Ohio State to win the Natty, even though Indiana just like it wasn't even a fluke. Like they were just as good.
Yeah.
They were the better team on that night. But it was a great game. I would love a rematch. I would love to see a rematch if it happens. One of those guys is going to lose that we're not expecting. So I just picked Georgia to upset them because I think Georgia's the most dangerous SEC team by far. Kirby's the best coach out of the bunch. I do like Elko, but I just think Kirby's obviously done it before and can pull out all the stops to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also wouldn't hate seeing Texas Tech go on a little run too. They've been really good this year. I feel like they've kind of been
there's a few teams I really wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing Miami go on a run, but I also don't want them to win it. Yeah. It is what it is. It's fun seeing new teams in there, especially teams that haven't been in near the top for a while. Next year will be the Gophers, but I think
That's
this
right,
is our
Curdy.
last pod of maybe of the 2025 season, or year, I should say. We'll be, well, depends when we do our post game, I guess. When we talk about
Yeah.
the bowl game, we'll be back to talk about that. And if anything else major happens, we'll jump on here and get out to you guys. But just want to say we've appreciated the follows and the listens all year. You guys have been great. Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Sky U Pod. As Curdy said, thank you all, and thanks for tuning in. If you don't mind, please like and subscribe to our video. You can find us on YouTube, X, wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. Please go ahead and take a look at our partners website, thecollegehuddle.com, for more college football podcasts and articles. Yeah, we'll see you next time breaking down the Gopher victory against the New Mexico Lobos. And yeah, we love you all. Take it easy. We'll see you next time.